Well, welcome to Speaking Out. I'm back. I have a host today. Her name is Dana.
Diane.
Diane, I'm sorry.
It's Diane.
All right. I asked her to come to my show. We met at the last city council meeting. We met a little bit before that, but we had a nice talk, and I decided to ask her to come on this show. I just, I've been living here all my life, and Dana's, how long you been here?
Oh, I haven't kept track of it, but it's well over 10 years.
Okay, but I guess we have a real bad problem here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quite so.
But anyway, I wanted to explain to Dana what my problems are here, and give her the highlights of my problems and interact with her. I want to start off, my problem started when I was 17. My dad was pretty well off and a businessman here, and I think that they were picking at me to get at my dad, and then it escalated. And my dad decided to pack up and leave. And I stayed, and I was running my business. And in 1995, you ever heard of Norman Lamb?
Afraid not. That's before my time.
State senator. His son is lieutenant governor. And in 1995, Norman Lamb called me to his office, and I went to his office, and he told me to have a seat. And I sat down, and he basically told me a vote was taken, and I've been voted out. I can't live here, I can't do business here, and leave or else. Man, I was like, wow. I thought this stuff went on back in the 1800s. Well, I went home, and I thought about it. So I decided to get up the next morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and go to a construction site. I knew I had to bring attention to myself. And I loaded up back of my truck with bricks. And I went up on it. He had an office across the street from Champlin's Park. And I knocked on the windows to make sure there wasn't no cleaning crew in there. A lot of the cleaning crews clean early in the morning. Wasn't nobody in there, so I stepped back and I said, "Forgive me." And I threw 7 bricks through his windows. And I jumped in my truck and I drove home, and I called 911. And she said, "911, may I help you?" I said, "You need to have the police go secure Norman Lamb's building on Cherokee." And she said, "Well, what's the problem?" I said, "Well, all his windows have been knocked out." And she asked me, how did I know? I said, "'Cause I done it. And I'm Byrin Carr." And I said, "You tell Chief Stover that I'll turn myself in at 10 o'clock, and if he want me before 10 o'clock, tell him to come and get me." And she asked me where was I, and I told her they know where I'm at, and I hung up. And you talking about scared, I was scared. And so we had one black officer at that time. It was Mr. Fitzgerald, good friend of the family. So I called him and told him what I'd done, and I wanted him to drive me down to the police department. So he came and picked me up, And he drove me down there about, I think it was like 9:30, 9:45. They didn't come out and get me until like 11:15. So I'm like, wonder why it's taking them so long. Well, they was all talking, you know, what we gonna do? You know, this boy done busted out this man's windows and, you know, and he told them what they said. And basically, you know, Norman's told him, don't arrest him and I'll pay for my own damages. You know, how can a man have that much power? You know what I'm saying? I should have been arrested, and I told Chief Stover I wanted him to arrest me in a way, and I want to know who took that vote, that I can't live here. You know, I'm born and raised here. Why come I can't live here? And Chief Stover said no. He called Tommy Rose in. He told Tommy Rose to take me to the back door and open the back door. If I don't walk out, throw me out. Tommy Rose had to throw me out. I didn't want to leave. So basically, Kathy Stoker, 3 months later, I had a problem with Brad Blankenship. And Brad Blankenship was following me one day. I didn't know he was following me. I was at the Continental Towers with Tom Sailors, sitting in there talking with Tom Sailors. And all of a sudden, the sheriff department drove up and surrounded the building. And they came in and said, Carr, are you sick? I said, no. What's the problem? Well, we got a order detention here. I said, what's that? He said, we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. I said, for what? Well, they gotta evaluate you. So Kathy Stoker sent me to the psych ward, 3rd floor regional hospital. And I had to stay 4 days. You know, they write down every 15 minutes what you're doing. And Judge Perry walked in, and I asked him, I didn't like Judge Perry because we had problems between each other. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, I'm gonna hear your case. I said, no, I don't want you here. If you hear my case, I'm gonna get the worst of the worst. And I'm not gonna allow you to hear it. And he said, you don't have no choice. I said, yeah, I got a choice. You got a few minutes, I said a minute to get out of here, or I'm gonna jump on you. And my lawyer told me I can't talk to him like that. I said, man, this dude ain't no freaking good. You know, I don't want him to hear my case. Get a judge in here that's gonna be fair. And he said no, so I leaked for him. It was Perry, Norman Lamb, and a couple other good old boys. They was all out there. And I walked outside. I went to the locked door. They got windows in it, and they was all sitting there laughing at me. And Judge Perry went to his office and got an order of detention to send me to Fort Supply. And I said, why they got to send me to Fort Supply? I can stay here. My family's all here. I can stay here. They said, no, we send you to Fort Supply. They want to get me out of town. So basically, they always played them games with me. When the order of detention came, the sheriff told me, he said, Carr, we parked out there on the east side of the building. Get your stuff and get on the elevator and you come out there and get in the car. And I had a cousin, bless her heart, she's dead now. She came up to me, she said, Carr, you get your stuff, you get on that elevator, and you go down that elevator and you go out there and get your butt in that car. Don't you do nothing else. You get in that car. They were supposed to handcuff me and take me to the car, but they wanted me to run. So I added another charge. So I said, yes, ma'am, that's what I do. So I got in the car and we drove to Fort Supply. That's in Woodward. You know where that's at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when we got to Woodward, I asked the officer, I said, man, I've never been over here. Is it all right if I walk around? Sure, do whatever you want to do. So I walked around and looked at things, and so about 45 minutes later, they came out and said, Carr, come on in. So I came in, and this doctor took me in the room, talked to me about 5 minutes. He said, what the heck are you doing here? ain't nothing wrong with you. I said, well, over there in Enid, they think I'm crazy. And I told him what I'd done. And he said, well, if he told me that, I would do the same thing. So he got on the phone. He called Kathy Stoker and told Kathy Stoker, I'm not going to be a part of y'all's parade here. There's nothing wrong with Carr. And you got 2 days to get him out of here, or I'm going to put charges on you myself. So they came and picked me up in 2 days. And I went in front of a jury, and after the DA got through talking, it was my turn. I asked the judge, I said, is it all right if I approach the jury? And he looked at the DA. DA said, he didn't have no problem with it. So I got up and did my Perry Mason. I told the jury just what went on. And after they listened to me, judge say, well, okay, y'all can go to your, what do you call that room that go deliver,
I'm not sure.
the room that they go to make a decision on whether I'm guilty or not. I can't say it.
Deliberation room?
Right.
All right, gotcha.
And
I'm not that terribly familiar with the legal system, I have to admit up front.
okay. So this lady say, do we have to go? And the judge said, not if y'all have made up your mind. He said, we have. And the lady said, not guilty. And it's a shame that in this day and time that y'all treating him like that. And they all lined up. Ladies were crying, the men were crying, and they all hugged me and said they sorry for these people's behavior. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go home now. Well, I walked out the court deal. They arrested me again and charged me with throwing bricks through Norman Lamb's windows. And so that was on a Friday. So Judge Blue let the courthouse close on Monday. About 7 o'clock, they brought me down from my cell. And DA said that he wanted to make me a deal. And I said, what's the deal? He said, well, we want you to do 24 more hours, and we want you to pay $4,600 for the damages you done to Norman Lamb's building. So I said, okay, why you want me to do 24 more hours? Well, we just want you to do 24 more hours. Well, that was Monday, and the city council was the next day. So they wanted me to stay locked up until the city council was over.
If I may interrupt you here, it seems to me that when it comes to handing down penalties, it's a judge's work to do. And these decisions on where you're going to serve time and how just comes down the pike out of the clear blue?
Well, that's the way, for them it is.
I find that interesting.
Yeah, so I told Judge Blue, I said, well, 24 more hours as of 12:01, the 24 hours is up. And he said, well, we can't let you out at 12:01, 12 at night. And so Weber was a good friend of mine. He was on the sheriff department. He said, Judge, if you tell him he can get out at 12:01, I'll be up here to let him out at 12:01. He said, okay, well, we'll let him out at 12:01. And I said, as far as that $4,600, I'll plead guilty to it, but I'm never gonna pay a dime of it. And I told him, made that perfectly clear, and I have never paid a dime of it. And I said, I wanna go home. So 12:01 came, and Weber was there. And he came and let me out. I went home. Then 3 years later, then in 1998, I went out and got 3 felonies on purpose to force the county boys in court, and I was gonna tell all their business. Did you know Clifton? Well, you wouldn't know Clifton Scott. He was the state auditor inspector.
See, that's the thing. I moved in here from out of state 10 years ago, and I'm still the new kid on the block. Even after 10 years, I don't know people here.